just the fluke of circumstance allows it. I mean, and there's going to be arguments on that. I mean, people are going to come out and say, well, there's reasons for that. You know, they incarnated into that family because they'd already served their time, or no, we don't believe in incarnation. You know, and it's just there's tons of scholars who bend the rules in every which way, and so it becomes null and void. And so for me, that it just didn't work, and obviously my goal to prove God kind of went down the other line. But after I did that, then it was shortly after that that I came upon um, David Icke. I came upon him by accident. I ended up watching one of his videos that I saw on, I believe it was YouTube or something like that. And I watched the thing, and that was the first time I would say that I became shocked. I mean, that really opened the door. I learned the most about the whole thing, started seeing the whole conspiratorial view of history and all that stuff, and that changed everything from that day forth. And that was about 10, 11 years ago is when that one particular thing occurred, which is usually where I count my studies into conspiracy and that kind of stuff. I studied. That's when I started the full-on studies. And from there, you know, I watched other things from Ike, and I started doing Jordan Maxwell, watching his stuff, and Tessarian. I came upon him right after that, and then it went into, you know, the umpteen million other ones that I've gone through now. And I watch every lecture that I can get my hands onto of any one of these authors. Or any author. I like long videos. I like the long documentaries, but you know, most people don't for whatever reason, unless you're a major conspiracist or you're into this kind of thing. I like those. I like long ones. I don't like 10-minute videos, but for some reason other people do. And I'm trying to get those people to maybe view the world a little differently who aren't going to watch those 2-hour videos, and most likely probably wouldn't even click on any links if I did give them references. They're going to watch my little thing and go, oh, that was interesting. Done. You know. But maybe some of them will adjust and they will want to know more. And if they want to know more, they can ask. And I'll point them in the right direction. As far as that, I've been doing it for 10, 11 years. Young whippersnapper. I am younger. I am 31, so just so you know, I'm not quite as young as you probably thought I was, but I am still pretty young. My education, I've never gone to I went to high school, graduated. I didn't go to college, never did that. I thought about it, but I had so many friends who actually did go to college and got these nice degrees and all kinds of things, and then couldn't find jobs. And they continued to struggle, and they ended up getting jobs at like Walmart or something. And a lot of times they even now, after working for like Walmart or whatever for as many years as they have throughout the school, they're actually earning more than that they would even if they did get their job and their degree, which was just sad and sick to me. I mean, that's ridiculous. So I never did that. I worked for various jobs. I have worked for Walmart. That's probably the one that I worked for predominantly. But I've had lots of jobs in my life. All of them were, you know, slightly above minimum wage. I wouldn't call them well paid, but not horrible paid either. But I didn't really want anything that was too hardcore anyway, as far as that, because I wasn't as into money and that. I don't want money. That's why I'm not asking for donations or any of that kind of junk. You know, I've always had enough to get by. My main focus is my researching, you know, looking into new ideas and things. That's what excites me. Work was just something I went to in order to pay the bills so that I could have a place to live in order to eat and do those basic things that you need and have a car or whatever and all that. That's it. And then the rest I use to purchase, you know, the books that I have and my computer rig here that I use and whatnot. I am a bit of a computer guru. Been working with computers since I was, I think, 8 years old I got my first one. I started programming when I was like 12 or something. GW Basic and Visual C and C Sharp, .NET, all that fun stuff. Um, Built my own computer from scratch. I'm on like my 3rd iteration of a built PC. So yeah, that's a little bit about me. I don't want these videos to be focused on me though. I mean, it's just about getting new ideas and information out to people and answering some questions for people, maybe giving them something else to look at. Yeah, education I covered, employment I've basically covered. None of that really is a part of my research in that. I'm self-taught and everything. That's always been something I enjoyed. Even when I went to high school, you know, I'd do the classes just enough to get through the classes because I didn't care about what they were talking about. I felt it was so one-sided. I hated it. But then as time moved on, I actually found out that I enjoyed learning after I started watching the Discovery Channel and that. And back then, I'd watch some of those documentaries, and that would capture me. I could sit there for hours and watch that. But, you know, to send me to high school or whatever and watching, I was just, like, going out of my mind. It just drove me nuts because felt so jaded. And so I've been self-taught and everything. I primarily watch stuff on YouTube, watching any documentary that I can come across. I buy tons of videos, you know, like stuff and anything that I can get my hands on. Alex Jones, you know, Chris Everett, thousands of others, and that's what I do. I sit and I study those things. I find books that they might recommend or something. I buy them. I read them. It changes my views, and that's how I do it. And that's how I'll continue to do it. I don't intend to go to college for anything. There isn't anything in particular I want to do with any of that stuff. This is just fun for me. But as I said, I do take my studying fairly seriously. I mean, that is literally what I do. When I get home from work, I eat, and then I go and I usually find a video, or maybe I have some that I've already, say, queued up or whatever, of a documentary of some form, and that's what I'll sit there and watch, and I'll write notes sometimes, or just reflect on it, or I'll go read my books if I can't find anything, or pick up a new book, and that's just how I do it. And I do that for 8 to 10 hours every night. That's what I do. I don't tend to go out and party with people and all that stuff. I've never been really into that. I'm not a very social person as far as going out and stuff. I've just kind of preferred to remain to myself and read my books, you know. I'm the true nerd, I guess. I don't really play that many games anymore. I used to. I still play some every once in a while, but I don't very much. It's pretty hit or miss. I don't really watch TV. I don't see any of that stuff. I don't watch sports. I don't do any of that kind of stuff. So, you know, the only way I see it is if someone else is mentioning it to me or telling me about it, or I see some clip or something. But that's not something that really entertains me. I watch movies every once in a while, but not really. I'm into just learning. I like learning things, and I do it for fun, and I never had a main objective other than educating myself. And that's actually why I ended up starting doing these videos, was because I had so many people who would ask me a minor question, and I'd give them this really unique view from my perspective, and I'd point them in directions of things. And they kept saying, well, what are you going to do with it? I mean, you're working at these places. You're so smart. You know all these neat things, and you have information on just about everything. It might not be, it's not the overall, but it's something on it. What are you doing working for these slightly better than minimum wage jobs? I'm like, well, what am I supposed to do with it? I mean, I guess I could go out and be a lecturer or something and sit there and, do what Ike does and that. But I think he does a great job at it. And they'd say, well, why don't you do videos online or something, And I was like, well, why would I want to do a documentary online? There's tons of them. There's tons of them that's already been covered. I don't have anything new. I don't have any firsthand experience like working for, the government, and I have like insider info. I don't have any of that, so that it doesn't do anything for me to do that. But I kept being pushed by all my friends and my girlfriend and all that, trying to get me to do something with it. And finally I said, well, maybe I'll just do a question and answer thing. And that's kind of where this came about. Then I was like, okay, well, I'll just lay it open for people to ask the questions. They can ask their questions. I'll give them my opinion. I'll try and, I try and throw little blurbs of little extra information that they might not have known in there for them to potentially ask more about it. Or maybe it'll get taken off somewhere else. And just allow that system to go, and I'm not going to do a long documentary on anything. The only thing that I think documentaries that could be used out there and would be interesting in the long form would be information on ceremonial magic, the Golden Dawn, and that kind of stuff. There are not very many videos on that. I find that highly interesting. It is one of my passions as far as because it's such an intriguing thought form how they articulate things. A lot of people view that that's all the work of the devil. Sorry, I don't see that. But I have read a ton of that stuff, and that has been a focal point for me. And I've even dabbled in, some of that stuff. And I've had some interesting, but I still argue against myself whether it's real or if it's, a psychological manifestation of my own mind. So, but that is something that I would like. Kabbalah, that is another question that I recently have been given, is about the Kabbalah and to go over the Tree of Life and that from their perspective and that will probably be a future one. That one I might want to actually be able to do diagrams or something for, because magic, it kind of requires something for you to see, at least to get it, because it can be kind of a thick topic. But yeah, that's about it. That's all I really have about me and that I really want to get into. If you do have videos for me to watch, feel free to post those for me too. As I said, I like watching new information, and a lot of times I'm probably have already seen it, but I might even rewatch it again because I'm kind of a nerd that way. And so, please ask me any questions again. As always, I'd like to get some very interesting ones, maybe get some good conversations going. Please like, subscribe, promote, favorite, and I'll probably talk to you soon. Thank you very much, and thank you, Thokling, for your very good question. Take care.